I could literally say anti-Semitic shit and they can't drop me. I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me. Now what?
Kanye. So, as you all might have heard, Adidas has officially decided to sever ties with Kanye West over his anti-Semitic tweets. I say anti-Semitic in quotations because at this point, who knows what it means? So there are two problems I have with this particular issue. The first is the hypocrisy of Adidas and a lot of the other companies for allowing hate speech for certain demographics of people, but not others. For example, you can easily say that I hate straight white males. Hell, you could say I could hate straight males. You could say I hate males like men, but you cannot say you hate Jewish people, which is fair, of course. You know, but you really shouldn't say that. Like, basically, what I'm trying to say is you should not be able to say that you can hate any group of people. That's my point. To me, it shows a complete and utter bias at these companies, and I think it needs to be addressed. The second problem I have is with Kanye West and his inability to see himself as anything other than a victim. He compared himself to a 14-year-old getting raped, which to me was completely uncalled for and utterly hyperbolic. But let's just start with the first issue. So, as I said before, there are certain demographics of people that are okay to be talked about and to be openly hated. That includes straight people, men, and white people. If you are black, Asian, Jewish, Latino, any other minority, you are basically off limits to hate and talk about, which is fair. Like I said, that's completely fair. But I don't think it's fair that you can openly hate white people, straight people for the most part, and just men in general, just men. There was a tweet that I read and I thought that it was brilliant. It reads as follows. Left winger said, and I quote, 1, black people can be racist because racism only can be from a more powerful group. Second, Kanye replaced white people with Jewish and the whole world comes crashing down. Basically saying if Kanye West said he was going to go DEFCON 3 on some white people, nothing would have happened. But the fact he said Jewish people, 3, many powerful Jews openly hate non-Jewish whites proudly, no problem. Shout out to Anomaly, because to me this tweet pretty much exemplified what I was talking about this whole time. I'm all for it being a peaceful, loving place, except I think it should be equal for everybody. Now, you might say, well, these companies have the right to do what they're doing right now, so what's the problem? They can do whatever they want to do because they're private companies. If they feel that somebody is violating something or that, policies or something that they go against, they have the right to, stop doing business with them and stop, associating with them or ban them from their platforms like social media. My argument is not that they don't have the right to do it. Of course they have the right, but ethically speaking, do you think that it's fair that certain groups of people get treated better than others based off the color of their skin, ethnicity, or religious beliefs? It's funny how we've gotten to the point to now we're the other side of the spectrum. You know what I mean? It used to be the white people that were racist back in the day, 1960s, 70s, 80s. But now mostly it's people thinking that they're practicing non-racism, but are inherently being racist to themselves. Like, for instance, when you say black people can't be racist, like that tweet read, the fact that you even said, like you refer to yourself as your skin color and your group, to me, exemplifies the problem. But I digress. Let's get to the actual second problem, which is really my main problem, which is how Kanye West is actually handling this situation. So from what I have seen so far, Kanye has done everything except take accountability for his actions, at least from what I've seen. He has constantly referred to himself as the victim in this situation, which I think is just strange. He keeps saying the word trauma, which I don't like that word because I think it's overused, especially by him. I've been hearing him say it since he was on Tucker Carlson. He's been saying it since Tucker Carlson, which I think is ridiculous. He says that for some reason during all these business dealings that I guess they had the upper hand because they have like the conglomerate on their side. They have the corporation on their side, like the Jewish people. But at the end of the day, you're the talent. you do have the leverage in that situation. At least I think so. At least it looks like he has the leverage. Especially when I seen it was a clip of him playing porn in front of one of the executives of Adidas, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Who else can get away with that but Kanye West? You know what I mean? Like, he has power in these companies. He has influence in these companies. At the beginning of this video, I showed a clip of him saying, if I say anti-Semitic things, Adidas still will not drop me. So I'm wondering exactly why he's trying to claim to be the victim now. Like, he's portraying, Adidas, Balenciaga, all of these places as the enemy or as the quote unquote oppressor. But to me, he had a very consensual relationship with all of them. You know what I mean? I think honestly, if he really wanted to prove his point, he would have just stood on what he said and said that I said that, and this is exactly why I said that. But he played the victim card in a sense, which is so weird to me. Because on one hand, he says, oh, I was talking about specific people. But on another hand, he does keep pointing out the ethnicity. Now, I am hesitant to speak on whether or not his observations are true or not, because I just haven't experienced that in terms of like the music industry, Jewish people. I have not even seen it, haven't interacted with that space at all. So I wouldn't know. And I think most people that are looking at this don't know. Most people that are commenting on this don't know exactly what goes on up in that industry because they have never lived that life. What I describe Kanye as is a liberal conservative, basically meaning he claims to be a conservative, but he has a lot of liberal tendencies, which I think is strange. Personally, I think that's weird, but what else would it be? He's an artist, he's in that space. He's surrounded by a lot of liberal, people. Which, not to say it's necessarily a problem, but they're gonna rub off on you. So you're gonna use words like trauma a lot. Oh, my feelings, you feel this. And that's another thing. I'm just so disappointed. I'm so disappointed that Kanye West, out of all people, went off of his feelings and not, his head. He didn't think about the future. As somebody who has accomplished all of these things, he, started one of the most influential clothing brands, is one of the most influential artists of at least this generation, has won Grammys, has did all of this, all of the extra stuff he's done. Why are you going off of emotion right now instead of thinking logically about the situation? It's just strange. But with that being said, that's pretty much my only gripe with Kanye West, is that he's too much of a victim to me. He's playing that victim role a little bit too hard. You know what I mean? But all in all, those were just my thoughts. But with that being said, if you like the video, my name is J Dottie. Like and subscribe. Peace.
Saku omoimo anata ni utawa kuega